Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Inspiration for Today. It's going to be another good show today because, and in fact, Pastor Jeff Feld is with me again all week at this Thought-Provoking Subjects Week. And this one today, Jeff, this is one that I have thought so much about over my life, which is, what's the meaning of life? Why are we here?
And
long before I was a Christian, I thought about this.
Absolutely. You'd hope that all of us ponder that at some point in time. I think many people put that off, but we really do need to think about that.
In fact, if all of this is an accident, which is what, let's say, the atheistic belief system would say, then there is no answer to this. This is a waste of time, really. Well, I look at certain people. In fact, one of the people that I have studied over the years is Solomon. And the reason I did is that Solomon is purportedly the wealthiest person who ever lived. He had the most in essence. He had everything going for him. And yet when you read the book of Ecclesiastes written by King Solomon, he can't figure out life. And he's frustrated by it. And folks, take time to read the book of Ecclesiastes with that in mind, that this is one of the wealthiest people, if not the wealthiest person who ever lived. He became so frustrated, and then finally he comes to the answer of life. And what verses are those?
Yeah, we're in Ecclesiastes 12, and this is verse 13 and 14. And this is Solomon's words. Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including everything hidden, whether it's good or evil.
Solomon came to the conclusion. By the way, at one point in his life, he asked God for wisdom, and God made him supposedly also the wisest person who ever lived.
Yeah.
And this is his conclusion, which is, again, basically
is fear God and keep his commandments. And the term fear God really means to worship, love, honor. It's not be afraid of. It's like God is God, a God of love. Yeah.
The only thing that brings meaning to life is the fact that there is a God, and that each thing, and there'll be a point in time, in eternity, when we make account for our life.
Yeah, there's nothing hidden from God.
It's meaningful, and I'm so thankful that it is. Well, Randall Niles, who we've been listening to this week, a Christian, he happens to be an attorney by trade, but the only reason that comes into play is he presents things so logically, and he delves into this topic. I want you to watch it and think it through. The meaning of life. Let's watch it.
The meaning of life. I mean, whether you look at the biblical accounts or whether you read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? The Monty Python movie or Shakespeare. I mean, the meaning of life has been this incredible question, probably the question that's been asked. Go into Shakespeare. Remember in Macbeth, you have Macbeth on the top of the castle and he's defending against this siege against the castle, and all of a sudden he hears this shriek down below, and it's Lady Macbeth, and she's just committed suicide. And instead of him freaking out because of the meaning, the purpose, the life, this soul that's just been lost, his wife, he kind of just goes into this very stoic speech. And you guys know it. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools. The way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. I mean, it sounds like Camus or Sartre or Nietzsche, right? This nihilistic approach to life, which is, if we're just gonna be worm food, truly, we just live in a purely materialistic, naturalistic world, then it is ultimately meaningless, a tale told by an idiot, sound and fury signifying nothing. And what is then the meaning of life? I read Solomon And in Ecclesiastes, before Solomon gets it, that, life is just about, basically serving God and keeping his commandments, he says, meaningless, meaningless, everything is meaningless. I have seen all things that are done under the sun. All of them are meaningless, a chasing after the wind. I mean, you've heard all the famous stories. Alexander the Great, he conquers basically the known world of his time. And at the end, he says, what's next? What else is there? What is the ultimate meaning of life? I'm going to end with this guy. This is Abdar Rahman III. This is about 10th century AD. This is the Caliph of Cordoba, right? He basically is the Muslim ruler of what is present-day Spain. He was successful in conquering all this territory, actually separating himself from the Arab Muslim leaders. And he writes the following: I have now reigned above 50 years in victory or peace, beloved by my subjects, dreaded by my enemies, and respected by my allies. Riches and honors, power and pleasure have waited on my call. Nor does earthly blessing appear to have been wanting to my felicity. In this situation, I have diligently numbered the days of pure and genuine happiness which have fallen to my lot. They amount to 14. O man, place not thy confidence in this present world. Do you see it? This guy was everything. He had the women, he had the armies, he had the riches. And he counts the days of happiness, of joy, of true meaning. 14. And he says, place not thy hope, thy confidence in this present world. Where's your meaning in life? What's your purpose in life? Are we truly going to be worm food? Then obviously you understand where that takes you. But is there something more? Is there something to focus on in the eternal? What's the meaning of life for you?
Isn't that something? I mean, he really made me think again, but I've thought on this subject many, many times.
These are things good to think about. I mean, I think many of us don't ponder this.
But it shows, and he quotes that conquering dictator from around the year 1000 AD who had conquered everything, and he thinks he has 14 days of happiness in his life.
Well, even today, you look in.
But at least he thought about it, by the way.
But even today, you look in the news, and whether it's the Hollywood elite or whatever else, you see how a lot of them struggle. I mean, they seem like they have everything, but they struggle with drugs and alcohol and all kinds of things, and so they clearly are also searching for what is the meaning.
Searching for the meaning of life. I mean, have you heard the analogy? I'm sure you have, but somebody who just is determined to get somewhere in life, and they put a ladder to climb up to wherever the pinnacle they're searching for, whether it's, well, you mentioned entertainment, it might be an Oscar, it might be corporate, whatever it is, you climb up that ladder and you make it, and then you say, now what?
Yeah, is this all there is?
So what?
Yeah.
And I don't know how many friends I had that I went to business school with that, if I ever make a certain amount of money, I'll have it all. And then they make that money, and either A, it's now not enough, or B, it doesn't bring the happiness I hoped for anyway.
Right. Yeah. And many in that case, either become miserable or they keep on striving and set new goals. So there's this constant treadmill that they're on, or that wheel. Yeah, exactly.
Never getting.
Yeah,
they're
never happy. They never get wherever they think they're supposed to be going.
Well, folks, I hope you'll think about the meaning of life. And God provides that. That's what Solomon decided. It's what we are living our life for, because it brings meaning to life. And Pastor Rick, over the years, has given us such a good way, 5 purposes in life that we have: to worship God, to fellowship with other believers, to learn more about Him, to do ministry together, just to serve people and to serve the world.
Yeah, share His love.
Those things bring meaning to life. And I'm thankful that He's found a way to quantify it that way, because we can do it.
Yeah.
Well, Laguna Woods, we have another very interesting, challenging show for tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.